It's a small sample size. And I asked DeMarcus Lawrence, the other pass rusher for the Cowboys, opposite of Michael Parsons, I said, hey, are you surprised that, Brock Purdy's doing pretty good, like about 10 starts in his career? He's like, well, he's like a bus driver in a sense. He's got a lot of weapons around him. And as you said, he gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds and that kind of thing. I can't remember a time when Brock Purdy beat somebody. Like he carried them to a win. So as I said earlier, get Brock Purdy down with some sacks, put him in long second and third down situations. They got a chance to win this football game. And they're not scared of Brock Purdy. They're very respectful of what he's been able to do. I mean, he was Mr. Irrelevant, and now he's like taking over. But they don't believe they're going up against Tom Brady or Pat Mahomes. They think, hey, this is a quarterback that is a bus driver, and he's got a lot of weapons around him.
49ers have all the tight ends. Kittle and Warner are tight left. Dwelly is right. Juszczyk ahead of McCaffrey. Here's Purdy with a play action. Going to roll right. Throw. Fullback. Wide open. Spider 2 wide. Banana. Touchdown.
The voice you heard was Calvin Watkins. He covers the Dallas Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News. And he came on the show Friday, and that was the meat and potatoes of basically 3.5 hours of Brock Purdy talk. We started the show around 6:30 with Calvin, and we love Calvin. This is all in good fun. I even tweeted at him today, and I said, bus driver? LOL. Yeah, that was Friday before the game. We took your predictions. Guess what? I left the sheet of paper at home that had all your predictions on it. So we have 4 hours together tomorrow, unless you want to remind me who nailed the score. 42-10 the final yesterday. The Raiders just won 17-3 besides the fact that Josh McDaniels has no idea what he's doing. Going for a field goal that would have kept the game in reach if it was good. And if it's not good, you're giving them good field position. So you either go for it there or you kick the ball into and try to go give them bad field position. It's just like it amazes me every week when I watch other teams play and then I watch the Niners play and how head and shoulders above everybody else they are with their coaching. And we could sit here and talk about Brock Purdy. We probably will. We're only together for about an hour and 15 minutes tonight. And we'll talk about Brock Purdy a lot. But Kyle Shanahan deserves a boatload of credit here. Like, this guy is on cruise control. We're lucky we have him. I remember coming back a few years ago, and he was getting criticized about a lot of things. But the way this machine is rolling right now, and the play calling, and the quarterback, I mean, the throw he made to Ayuk that got called back, the 40-yard game on a little kind of out, kind of flag route. I mean, and then you watch Brian Baldinger today break down the film. If you're on Twitter, check it out. There's a pass he threw across the middle to Deebo Samuel that was a tight spot. I mean, Brock Purdy, I mentioned him last week a lot as a potential MVP candidate, and I got ridiculed a lot by family and friends. They're like, dude, it's CMC. But I said if he goes 15-2 or more, that this guy has a chance to be the most valuable player in the NFL. And right now, I think he is. I know he's fourth in the odds and whatever, and there's some other guys that you know who they are, the usual characters. But what this team did on Sunday, last night, I mean, there wasn't a moment where you're just like, uh-oh. And like I said on Friday, when have we ever gotten mad at the TV when Brock Purdy's playing quarterback? Like, name one time when I just watched Jimmy G do Jimmy G things. He played okay. He was nervous in the pocket. He threw the ball to the other team. He made bad decisions. He threw a grenade when a guy was like wide open at his tight end. It could have been a touchdown, but he won. But that's the anxiety and the nervous nature we had as Niner fans with Jimmy G as a quarterback. And I love Jimmy G. You guys know that. But there was moments when you're like swearing at your TV when Jimmy G was your quarterback. You don't swear at your TV with Brock Purdy. You just sit there and go, "Oh my goodness, this looks like a video game. It's not this easy to slide into like the little window of the pocket, roll right, and just float one to Kittle in the corner of the end zone on the run between the numbers." And I know there's been like Montana comparisons or whatever, and people are like, no. I think it's time to start thinking about this team as not the best team in the NFL. And I heard somebody say this on ESPN, so I'm stealing from them. They could go down as one of the greatest teams ever. Like when it's all said and done. I'm sure the Miami Dolphins that do their toast every year with the champagne every time there's no more undefeated teams are a little bit nervous about the Niners right now. And I know the whole league is. I mean, that was just a straight up butt kicking in any way, shape, or form. I mean, every way, shape, or form. All shapes and forms. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to break down with that. I mean, we could talk about Brock Purdy, 17 for 24, 254, 4 TDs, 42-10 final. They're 5-0. I mean, Dre Greenlaw, just watching him play, the intensity that guy plays from whistle to whistle, that he wants to do damage out there. Fred Warner the same way. I watched all the games. I just watched that game before we came on. There's no other team that plays like this with the intensity, with the passion for every single play, whether it's on offense or defense, than the 49ers. And do they have a lot of talent? Oh, my God, yes. I mean, come on. They have more talent than any team. But it's more about the attitude and the culture that we really got deep into on Friday, and the wanting to win and the will to win and playing for the guy next to you. And remember last week when Kittle was all excited for Christian McCaffrey and his 4 touchdowns? He's like, why did he get 5? And he was all just pumped up for his teammate. And then what happens this week? You're pumped up for your teammate, then you have 3 touchdowns yourself. You score 3 touchdowns, and that's a career high. But that's how this thing works. When it's selfless and you check your ego at the door and it's just about winning, and you have that chemistry and you have that vibe that doesn't come around very often. I mean, these things don't happen very often. They're hard to happen at the highest level because everybody has an agenda. Everybody wants their money. Everybody wants their fame. Everybody wants their credit. But when you can get what's going on down there, if you could do that and put it in a bottle, and all the coaching and all the mistakes I saw this weekend and all the lack of talent in the NFL, all the lack of effort in the NFL, there's something really, 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 really special going on. This isn't just a special bunch. This is beyond that. And it all starts with a culture created by Lynch and Shanahan. And they said, this is going to be our identity. This is our culture. This is how we're going to play. And then the players that came in, it's not so much buying into that. It's players that have already bought into that wherever they were, and they just fit into it like a puzzle. Unbelievable stuff. Really, really unbelievable stuff. So 808 KNBR, great weekend this weekend. We had the Blue Angels flying all over the place. I was lucky enough to be on some crazy rooftops to watch it. Then I went to North Beach with my Italian Goombas yesterday, and we had way too much to drink, and it was just a wonderful festival over there. Just a great weekend in the city. And now we're back to normal. The weather's back. I mean, Saturday, oh my God, it was like I was sweating bullets. I can't remember the last time I sweat in San Francisco, but everywhere I went, we were all dripping through our shirts. I'm like, where am I? Back on the East Coast? And then the plane's flying right over your head, and now everybody's gone, and the traffic's gone, and we get back to normal. It's cooled off. It's drizzling out there right now. I scootered into the show about the third quarter, right? Well, about the fourth quarter, I guess, tonight. Scootered in. It was a little bit wet out there. So 808 KNBR, if you want to chime in. I think Mike in Oregon was close to the final score, if I'm not mistaken. Mike, were you close to the final score?
Oh, I was close, but I had 38-13, and it was 45-10, obviously.
It was 42-10. 42.
Yeah, 42. Okay. Well, I can't count, man. You know that. So, no, I can count on the Niners going forward. You know what, man? I got to tell you, Brock Purdy, it can drive my bus all the way to Super Bowl Purdy, man, all the way.
Dude, it was that funny. It was weird because we had 3.5 hours of full phones on Friday, and I said, is Brock Purdy a system quarterback? I said, I think it's a slight to talk about him as a system quarterback. And I said, every quarterback is a system quarterback because that's your offense. That's the system you run. It's not like you just draw plays up in the huddle or say go down by that car and hang a right. So every quarterback, in a sense, is a system quarterback. But I think when you talk about Brock Purdy, he wasn't getting any respect. I think it was, the 5th most viewed Sunday night football game in history. So now all of a sudden I turn on ESPN this morning and I turn on all these, the NFL Network, and everybody's talking about Brock Purdy. And that's what we were trying to say. But there was a lot of Niner fans that called on Friday that said, yeah, he is a system quarterback, and it's all he has to do is this, this, and this. But I think the more you see him play, the more you see him create, the more you see him do it himself, the more he can actually win you a game by himself, which that was said a lot. He can't win you a game by himself. And I'm like, well, what does that even mean, a quarterback winning the game by? That mean he throw the ball to himself, he catches the ball by himself, he runs the ball every play? Like, what does it mean when a quarterback wins a game by himself? But I think Brock Purdy's gotten to the point where he's proving to America and a lot of people that don't get to see him play every Sunday like we do, or Thursday or Monday or whatever it is, that he's more than just a guy that passes the ball around to great talent.
Well, I think what happened Sunday night also demonstrated the vision of, like you said, Lynch and of Shanahan, of the quarterback to fit in that mold. Happened to be the last pick, so be it. It doesn't matter. He's here now. And all these attributes, all these things we've been talking about since he started to play, how fast he is at the read, and how he's gotten these balls. I'm sorry, I got to take credit. I told you he was going to go to Kittle. I told you.
Yeah, you did. You said Kittle was going to have a big game.
And he did. I just felt it because it was time, because we knew they were going to focus on McCaffrey, and they did. They shut him down. I mean, I don't mean they shut him down.
Did anybody think McCaffrey... Did anybody think McCaffrey had a concussion? I thought he was concussed on that one play. He had like the alligator arms in the air for about 1,001 count. I'm like, he needs to get off the field. I thought he got his bell rung, but he stayed on the field. Isn't there like protocol like up in the booth to see things like that? And if I saw that, I saw. What's that, Mike?
Is there an auto on that, on those types of hits? Isn't there an auto on that? The boot's supposed to pick that up. The NFL's supposed to pick that up.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't think they saw that.
Yeah. I hope he's all right. But, here's the thing. That guy, they said, well, he only got 76, 78 yards. You know what? He had 5 guys on his back half the time. Number one. Number two is he opened up Kittle. He opened up the other things, Ayuk, all these other things, and Purdy made it work. He took the level this is what Kyle's been wanting since he put this playbook together, this massive playbook, somebody that can comprehend it and do as he asks. And he's doing it, and he's doing it beyond expectation.
All right, Mike, thanks for the call, buddy. Got to bounce around. Have a great Monday. Let's go to Dog Train in Milpitas. Dog Train, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
What's up, FP? Hey, I got a quick comment to make. All the other guys all the other stations that try to talk sports talk like you, they can't do it. Basically, you're enemies, but you know what? If you beat them every time, you just ignore them. Here's the deal. They were trying to find out, and they didn't take my call, so I'm going to give you the answer. They said, why is Brock Purdy so good? Here's your answer. Garoppolo got paid quite a bit of money, comes here, and Garoppolo's Garoppolo. We don't need to say what he looks like, okay? Everybody knows. So Garoppolo's Garoppolo, and who does he date? Remember that? Okay, leave it at there. Then you get Trey Lance, who gets paid, a certain amount of money, and he's a high draft pick, and they wanted him. And what's he on YouTube doing? He's giving cash to strippers. Then you've got Brock Purdy, and what do they say about Purdy? Purdy is being told by the starting lineman, hey, you're third string. It's all over the place. You can look it up yourself. Hey, Brock, why don't you come play cards with us Tuesday or Wednesday nights? And, we heard you're kind of smart, so we want to play cards with you. And he's like, no, guys. He told the starting lineman. And they laughed at him. They said, why not? Well, because I got to study the playbook. And they said, Brock, you're third string, buddy. You're never going to play. Okay? And then a few weeks later, what happens? He's playing. And he's been the guy ever since. That's why Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy. Okay? He grew up in a disciplined home with 2 good parents. But the bottom line is that the guy's disciplined. He studied the game. He is a professional's professional. He may be young, but he's a pro. He earns every cent that he makes, and the other guys didn't put in that effort. It was obvious.
Dude, just because Jimmy G dates a porn star and apparently Trey Lance went to a strip club doesn't mean they don't work.
I didn't say that.
You absolutely said that. You're saying Brock Purdy refused to play cards. That's why he's good. Those guys work hard too. The reason Brock Purdy is good because he processes quicker than both of those guys. He learns the playbook and he can read his progressions. He scored high on that aptitude test, and you watch Jimmy G today, and it's going really fast for him. He's very frantic in the pocket. He's sketchy in the pocket, and he can't see the field and slow it down like Brock Purdy can. So it's a weird dynamic where Brock Purdy can actually slow the game down, but he gets through his progressions quicker than anybody, and he makes the right decision. He's accurate. It has nothing to do with not playing cards. It has nothing to do with going to a strip club or not going to a strip club. It has nothing to do with who you date. To come on and insinuate that these guys weren't good because they did those things is asinine. It really is.
Did you cut me off?
No, I don't cut people off here.
Okay, can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
Please? Okay. No, that wasn't really the point I was making.
Well, that's the point you made, dude. I'm just saying it like it is. That's the point you made. You come on and said those guys don't work hard. They both of those guys work their ass off. Trust me.
I failed. That's why you run that station right now and I don't. Look, I'm just a caller. You get me
fired up.
I apologize. I tried to make the point that when Brock Purdy was being invited by the starting lineman to spend time, having fun with him and whatnot, he said, I got to study. He's already had the mindset as a third stringer that someday I'm going to play, and when I do,
he was ready for his chance. I agree with you there. But to insinuate the other guys didn't work hard, Brock Purdy's just better than they are. That's it. And it doesn't mean he works harder. He sees the field differently. He's probably more accurate. He gets crushed that he doesn't have a good arm, and he let some throws rip last night that were unbelievable, and he does have a good arm. He's got touch. So, yeah, I mean, he's the guy right now, and he's borderline MVP of the NFL. So, yeah, and he does work hard at it, and he probably is a little bit more dedicated, and he's a religious guy, which is cool. He's got his faith to fall back on, which doesn't mean that every Sunday or every pass is life and death, and it kind of puts things into perspective for him. So that's a plus. But the way you led to that dog train was like, these guys are just partiers and they don't care. And the reason Brock is better than them is because they were and he isn't. You don't know any of that stuff. You don't know that, so you can't come on and say it.
I was a quarterback. I can tell you, the more you can anticipate what's going to happen, the sooner you can release the ball. If you anticipate and guess right on what's happening with the next one or two pitches, you got a better chance of getting the bat on the ball. That's what you said. So he studied just like he studied pitchers. The other guys can't make quick decisions because they're not as well studied. I would bet my life on that.
Yeah, but you don't know that. It could just be an innate thing where he just sees things quicker and it calculates quicker in his head. And he's actually tested an aptitude scores in the combine to have an elite status when it comes to like, no, yes, there's my guy, instead of no, oh my God, I can't see anything. I'm going to throw it to where I think he is, and I don't know what defense they're in, but I'm going to rely on my arm strength. I'm going to throw flat-footed, or I'm going to make a bad decision. He makes good decisions because that's just how his mind processes. Then you add the study and the dedication onto that, and then you add the fact that he has confidence and swagger and demeanor of a guy that's been there 10 years. And then you add the fact that his team believes in him and his coach believes in him, his fan base believes in him. That's why he's good. It doesn't have anything to do with going out at night or not going out at night, or being religious or not being religious.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with almost everything you said. There is one thing. Until the book's written and the interviews of the three guys come out, I would be willing to bet that someday Jimmy's going to say, I didn't want to live my life as a quarterback the way a lot of other guys may have. I wanted to enjoy it. You know who those guys are, FP.
Joe Namath?
Okay, yeah. And he didn't last as long as he could have because they said there's certain things that didn't happen well for him, and he got the crap beat out of him. But look at the guys that take care of themselves that last in baseball, okay? A lot of it's genetics. We all know that. But, when it's known that a guy will give up hanging out with the starting lineman that he may be behind someday to protect him, keep him alive, and he tells him, I got to study, that's respect for them and himself and every opportunity that he may or may not have in the future. That's a mature young person. That's why the most important position on the football field is the quarterback. Because if everybody does their job and the quarterback doesn't, you still lose. You can't win if you don't put points on the board, no matter how great your defense is.
Good point, dude. And he's making $900,000 a year and living with a roommate, so it's not like he can afford to lose money in a card game either. I didn't play cards, dog train, because I couldn't afford to, man. You get in that A game on the airplane and guys are making 10, 15, 20 million a year, and they're just throwing around thousands of dollars, and I'm making, which is good money for, everybody else. But in the big leagues, I wasn't making a lot of money, comparably speaking. I stayed out of the A game because I wasn't writing a check for $20,000 when the plane landed before you get on the bus.
That's because you're smarter than the average bear.
Dog Train, thanks for the call, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting me going tonight. I'm trying to go with this no coffee crap after 2 p.m., and it sucks because it's in your system like 8 to 10 hours. I like to come on here wired up, and it gets me in a good mood. And I'm a little bit salty tonight because I slept on the couch for half the game, had to set my alarm so I didn't miss a show tonight. I'm doing a post-game show for a game that I didn't give a crap about. I got playoff baseball on. The Diamondbacks are beating the Dodgers 4-2 right now. The Braves game was one of the best playoffs games I've seen in a long time, with Austin Riley going deep, giving them a lead, then Bryce Harper getting doubled up to end the game, Michael Harris II making that great play in the outfield, overthrowing the cutoff man. The best thing about it was Austin Riley running across the infield like Jeter. Why was he behind second base? Because if you're standing around in baseball, you're doing something wrong. You follow the baseball. There's always a place to be. For you young kids that are listening to Sports Talk Radio at 9 o'clock, you have issues and you need to talk to your teachers about it if you're listening to this. But you always have to be somewhere. Like if you're standing around watching, you're doing something wrong. I tweeted it and it just blew up. He was there. He got the ball. He threw it to first. Bryce Harper, you put your foot on the bag. You get to second. If the ball hits off the wall, you're still scoring. There's no need to round second all the way to shortstop there and take a gamble with one out when you're the tie and run. He's got enough speed to where if you get to second, you look at the ball, he crashes against the wall, it rolls away, you're still going to score. At the very worst, you get to third with one out, but you're going to score on that. So there's no percentage in rounding the bag that far. That said, that's playoff baseball, man. Playoff baseball gets me fired up. If the Dodgers do anything, not that you guys give a rat's ass about the Dodgers, but we will go to the Dodgers game if something happens. The Diamondbacks are up 4-2 in the 8th inning. Let's go to Phil in Menlo Park, and then we'll transition back into baseball. We'll talk some Niners. We'll take a break because I need one right now. Phil, you're on the Sports Leader. What's going on?
Hey, FP, I just want to know if anybody had noticed what they did with the Christian McCaffrey's parents putting them up in the luxury boxes and brought Purdy parents out in the cheap seats.
I don't know how that goes. And that, you know what that is? If I'm guessing, Phil, and this is a total wild guess, that the players have to buy those. So if a player's making the glue that CMC's making, he can afford to buy a suite for his parents. Those aren't gifted, I believe, in the NFL, and I believe it's a league rule, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. And Brock Purdy's making $900,000 or whatever it is, which is great money for all of us. Not quite as much as I make per segment here at KNBR, but it's pretty good money nonetheless. And so his parents have to sit in the bleachers with the common folk.
Yeah, it just kind of blew me away, you know.
I'll tell you this, Phil. His parents are going to own the stadium here in a couple of years if he keeps doing what he's doing. They could buy all the suites out on the top level.
No doubt about it. The way he's playing is just phenomenal. And the defense did their job, too. So, thank you much, and you have a great week.
Thanks, Phil in Menlo Park. Thanks for calling the show. All right, 808 KNBR's the number. There's some funny text messages I got to get to on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line. Your calls, some text messages. We'll talk some playoff baseball, and we'll do live look-ins to the Dodgers game if that gets interesting, because it's better than hearing me talk. Your call's next on the Sports Leader.
I can't remember a time when Brock Purdy beat somebody. Like he carried them to a win.
Purdy throws over the middle, caught by Deebo Samuel. First down 30, 25-20. They're inside the red zone anyway. The very next play, they go Deebo dig over the middle on 3rd and 14 for a huge gain of 43 yards.
In that playoff game last year, I didn't think Brock Purdy was like Joe Montana. He was okay, and the Cowboys are not looking at Brock Purdy as this, oh my gosh, we're going up against Tom Brady or Pat Mahomes.
Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown! San Francisco!
This is a walk-up song for a couple years right here. I liked it because they say, there goes my hero, he's ordinary. I think it comes right here. Oh, yeah, flashbacks. Brock Purdy used to be ordinary. Now he's like different level after that. National stage, big-time rivalry game, tons of eyes on him. Just an amazing performance by the 49ers in general. Every facet of the game. Did you hear Greg's touchdown call there? That was great. He strung out Kittle too long, and he had nothing left for San Francisco, and he said, San Francisco!
3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown! San Francisco!
That was almost a blackout moment for Pops in the booth. What a game last night, man. That was so cool. If anybody went, I'd love to hear what the vibe was like there. I was watching on my couch, trying to sober up from a day in North Beach where I overindulged in the Italian Columbus Day Parade Festival thingy. Yes. Gino and Carlos was over there. That was fun yesterday. It was a good time in the city. A great weekend in the city. Culminating with a 42-10 win over the Cowboys. That was just so cool. The whole thing was cool. Anyway, KNBR is the number. A lot of great playoff baseball going on right now. The Dodgers are up 4-2 with 2 outs. I mean, the Diamondbacks are up 4-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. The Diamondbacks have runners on first and second. Phillips is pitching for the Dodgers. When this goes to the bottom of the 9th, if the score stays, relatively close, we're going to go to a live look-in from Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers staring at a 2-0 deficit. Something has to be done in the playoffs about these teams that win the division getting penalized by sitting around. Baseball's an everyday game. Like it or not, it's just a rhythm. It's an everyday thing. You go on an all-star break for 3 or 4 days, you can lose your swing just because you just get stale. And I said before these things started that it's like a car stopped at a stoplight waiting for it to turn green. And these teams that are playing meaningful games in September and they play a series before this, they pour champagne on each other. They're celebrating. They have confidence. They have a vibe going. They have the thing going. They have it. And they're like the car that times the light perfectly. When it turns green, you're pulling up and you just go buzzing by that guy that's been sitting in the light. Well, the Dodgers and the Braves have been sitting at the light no matter how good they are. The Braves pulled one out tonight. Incredible, incredible. Austin Riley hit a home run with one hand. If you saw it, he was out in front. He let go of the bat. It was a one-handed home run to give him a lead. That place went nuts. And then the double play to end the game that I already discussed on the other side. So your thoughts on the playoffs, your thoughts on the 49ers. Are they going to run the table? And can we put the Brock Purdy as a system quarterback to rest? Can we just put that to bed forever now? He's not going backwards. And what I saw last night is the arm is actually getting stronger week by week. I don't know where it was when he first started, pain-wise, strength-wise, whatever. But the throws he was making with the confidence he had behind it and what he had on the football last night. Like, he threw floaters on purpose. He had touch on passes on purpose. There was a lot of timing routes, but when he needed to rip it, he ripped it. And this whole thing that he's a bus driver. And Calvin, by the way, we're not crushing Calvin. And if you heard that interview on Friday with Calvin Watkins from the Dallas Morning News, he was a Cowboy guy, even though he's a reporter. But he was saying what the Cowboys were saying about Brock Purdy, that they weren't scared of him, that he isn't Tom Brady or he isn't Joe Montana or he isn't Patrick Mahomes. And he isn't. He really isn't. He hasn't won anything yet. But he also hasn't lost anything yet. I mean, every time he starts, they win, minus the game when his arm fell off. So maybe I took it a little too personally on Friday that he's not getting enough credit, that people are saying he's a bus driver, he's a system guy. When you see he's creating and he could do more than that, I just don't think people pay attention. It's the whole East Coast bias thing. I don't think people watch the Niners very often. And then they come on and they watch the highlights on ESPN. They hear a few guys, even the guys on ESPN, I don't think watch Brock Purdy. They did last night because it was nationally televised. It was the only game on TV, but he was the only one. I mean, that was the only time they seen him. Sorry, my computer just dinged. Let's go to Keith in San Jose. Keith, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, Angelo. Hey, yeah, thank you. I'm the guy that came on last year or earlier and said that I ain't pumping nothing. When it comes to Brock Purdy, everybody was talking about pump the brakes.
And you said, I ain't pumping nothing. He's the real deal.
That's me. So what I'm thinking is, first of all, there's a word for people that do that when they say that he's a system quarterback and, he needs to win a game by himself.
What's the word?
So hating, that's the word. And look, if they think Brock Purdy is a system quarterback, well, I got some advice. Then there's a whole lot of quarterbacks in the NFL need to be a system quarterback. Because a lot of that stuff that all of the other quarterbacks that ain't supposed to be a system quarterback ain't doing nothing, getting their necks broke every week. So, to me, the quarterback position is either successful or it's not. It's just people they're just nitpicking. If you can win games, or you can't. That's the bottom line. And he's doing it. And if he was a system quarterback only, then how come he ain't threw no interceptions yet? He ain't threw one interception in 5 games. So I'm done. That's what I want to say.
All right, Keith, I love the passion, dude. You're right. I agree with everything you said. I thought it was kind of a slight to a guy that was the last pick in the draft, and maybe he's always going to have to shake that. But what I said on Friday, repeating myself, is I hope he always thinks he has to shake that. I hope he always has a chip on his shoulder. I hope he never takes a deep breath and says, I've arrived. Because he has to play like that. He has to play with, Mr. Irrelevant, take that. He has to always play. And I'm speaking from experience, Keith, because I lost that toward the end of my career. When I took a deep breath when I signed with the Dodgers, I had a nice little 2-year deal, a little nest egg for the family. And I took a deep breath for the first time in my career. And I always used to play with that chip on my shoulder. I lost that chip, and I felt weird driving a Mercedes, and I felt weird living in a nice house, and I felt weird buying nice clothes. It just didn't feel right? It just didn't sit well.
It gives you a good push, don't it?
It does. It does. And then when I got back to the A's my last year, it just made me appreciate everything a little bit more to get back to where you were. So that's why I'm saying, Keith, I hope this kid never loses that. I hope he keeps evolving and getting better. He's getting better right in front of our eyes every week. Like every game has been a progression since the day he started to the game against the Cowboys. You remember the playoff game against the Cowboys? He came out a little bit nervous, as he should be. Yeah. It was his first playoff game. He made some weird throws in the first quarter. You're like, whoa, oh no, he's going to be nervous. And then there was nothing like that last night. Nothing at all. It was just like, bip, bip, bip.
Last night.
He did.
He told everybody that, look, check me out tonight. I'm going to show all the haters. I'm going to show all of America what I can really do. And he did it.
But, Keith, there was also a calmness and a quietness about the way he did it, too, because a lot of times as an athlete, when you have that attitude, you try too hard. And invariably you go the other way. You start throwing interceptions. You start fumbling the ball, holding on to it long, making bad decisions, because I'm going to show you. It's just like he had a game plan. He was confident. He stuck with it. He created. He found little seams in the rush, rolled right, found Kittle, made incredible throws. His line gave him time. He wasn't under duress. It was just a complete football game by those guys last night. And Jerry Jones was saying all week that this is a measuring stick for us to see where they are. And I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what their identity is. Dak Prescott ain't a guy. He's not a guy. He just doesn't seem like a guy.
He's not the man for it. But I tell you what, I bet they wish they had Purdy instead.
Everybody was worried about Trey Lance giving secrets to the Cowboys last week. What if Trey Lance called the 49ers and gave them secrets about the Cowboys? Because that's what it seemed. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like the Niners knew every play that was coming.
This is my brother said. He said, this is what Trey Lance said when they're asking for some advice. He said, oh, y'all finna get your ass whooped.
Probably. All right, Keith, thanks for calling again, man. It's good to hear your voice, dude.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the call.
Have a great night, Keith. Yeah, the text line, the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line, the 707 chiming in saying, fired up FP makes for great radio. LOL, much love, bro. Yeah, I came out of the gates firing tonight. What is wrong with me? Do you get grouchy after naps? I get grouchy after naps. I got to shake it, you know? Like I'll get up I get up mad from naps. And I took a little nap on the couch because I gave 0 Fs about the game tonight. I did. I love football. I'll have it on the background. But the YouTube, dude. So the YouTube, and I have no dog in this fight. I'm not promoting YouTube. I don't care. It's amazing. I had the game on, the baseball game on, the football game on. They got the 2 box. So I had the Braves on and Jimmy G on my big TV downstairs. And I was like, this is heaven. I didn't know you could do that. I thought it would just be like 2 baseball games or 4 football games, whatever they do on it. Whoever invented YouTube TV, I mean, even if you're a dork, like, thanks. Probably are. Probably somebody that we all stuffed in lockers in high school, but you invented YouTube TV. Thank you very much. Now you're driving a Lambo, getting all the hot chicks. Or you could be a girl, the other way around. It could be either way. Let's go. The 707 chiming in. FP's my hero. Yeah, that used to be my walk-up song back in the day. Let me see. Would be amazing, the 707 on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line. Would it be amazing? Why does this not click to the thing? Would it be amazing for Purdy to win the MVP, NFC Offensive Player of the Year, and Comeback Player of the Year? I don't know if he could win Comeback Player of the Year. He only missed like a half, or what was it, 3/4? Well, he didn't even miss it. He just was playing like with one arm. He's a slot machine for half the game. Yeah, he played. He just couldn't throw. Should try to throw left-handed. What's wrong with him? Let's go. I was going to say, should we go to the bottom of the ninth at Dodger Stadium? Let's go to the bottom of the ninth at Dodger Stadium.
It's 0-1.
1 out, nobody on. 4-2 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the ninth. Kike Hernandez just lined out.
Sewald, the 1-strike pitch, and Outman a swing and a miss at a fastball, and it's 0-2.
A lot of swing and miss from James Outman in this series. He's had 2 strikeouts.
Oh, my goodness. This does not surprise me at all. At all. If you heard me in Scottsdale, I said the Diamondbacks were the best team I saw all spring training. Easily, hands down the best team. And I saw the Dodgers play. I picked the Diamondbacks to win the West. when the season started on the first show before opening day. And I know that's blasphemous on the sports leader to not pick the Giants, but I said the Diamondbacks, I thought they were the best team in the National League West, and now it looks like they're on the verge of advancing to the NLCS. One more win. I was up 2-0 in the ALDS in 2001, so it's definitely not over. Stranger things have happened. Who had a good night for the Diamondbacks tonight? Let's check the box score real quick. Lourdes Gurriel had a home run, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Corbin Carroll went 1 for 2 with 3 walks, on base 4 times tonight. That's leadoff hitting, baby. Marte, 2 for 5. Tommy Pham, 2 for 5. I don't hate Tommy Pham as much as I used to. I did never hate him, but when he slapped Jock or whatever he did. Zach Gallen went 5 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, struck out 4, walked 2. The Diamondbacks are up 2-0. The Phillies were on the verge of being up 2-0 tonight, and that game ended with one of the wildest plays you'll ever see. Going to take a quick break. 808 KNBR. I see some people on hold right there. Keep trying. We'll get to your calls next. We'll talk some more playoff baseball, some 49ers football on the Sports Leader.
Hey, Angelo.
Here's the pitch. Here's the pitch. Swing and a high fly ball drilled out towards center field. That one back some more. Harris at the wall, and he makes the catch. Racing back to first is Harper as the throw comes in, cut off, throw to first, double play. Oh my goodness. Harris's throw got away from Albies, but Riley was there, and the game ends on an 8-5-3 double play. Holy cow.
Holy cow!
KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo. Now continues. Follow us on Twitter at KNBR. This is KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Man, I'm watching the highlights in here right now during the commercial break, and Michael Harris II went up against the wall, jumped into the fence, overthrew Albies, who was at second, and for some reason, Austin Riley was between second base and the pitcher's mound. He cut the ball off and doubled up Bryce Harper at first base. There's certain things in baseball, when you hear broadcasters or people around the game saying he's a baseball player, you're like, well, duh, he is. No, that's a baseball player. That's an instinctual thing that you cannot teach. And like I said earlier, repeat myself, if you're standing around in baseball, you're doing something wrong. And he just followed the throw in. He saw Harper retreating. Bryce rounded the bag, probably to where the shortstop normally stands. He was halfway between second and third. So he saw Bryce going back to second, so he knew he could vacate third. He didn't have to cover third anymore, right? Because the hitter's going the opposite way. He's got to retouch second base to get to first base. Can't cut across the infield as much as you want to in that situation. You got to retouch the bag. And he was standing right behind the base, scooped it up, threw it to Matt Olson at first to double up Bryce Harper. One of the wildest endings to a game you'll ever see.
Harris's throw got away from Albies, but Riley was there.
And threw it to first. That's Boog Shambi from ESPN Radio, the voice of the Cubs. It's coincidentally enough saying holy cow right there, like Harry Carey to end that call. But yeah, it was a holy cow moment. Jimmy Rollins is breaking it down right now, and I'm sure he's that reminded me, and as hard as this is to say, Derek Jeter cost me my only chance for a ring. When the game in Oakland in 2001, the Jeter flip play where Jeremy didn't slide, God rest Jeremy's soul. And that reminded me of that. It's one of those moments like, why is Austin Riley there? 90% of third baseman be standing at third. Riley's pointing to first. They're breaking it down right now. Bryce is running the bag. Riley's just kind of cruising to the middle of the infield. He's right by the umpire. He backhands the throw at his feet and all in one motion throws to first base. Literally, you can't teach that. That fires me up so much on a million levels. You know why? Because the card in the back of his pocket didn't tell him to stand right there. He had to actually pay attention to the game and do something instinctual, baseball-y, if you will, and being in the right place at the right time. He had a one-handed home run, and I'm more fired up about the play right here than the one-handed home run. The one-handed home run to give the lead in the bottom of the eighth was incredible too. But when you talk about getting more athletic in the Giants next year, Harris going up against the fence, making that play. I don't know the Giants have a center fielder that can make that play. I don't know the Giants have somebody that would just float with that play like that. And it's just certain innate things that a player has that you can't teach. And Brock Purdy has that too. He has certain innate things. He's a football player. He has things that you can't teach. He has intangibles. In a day and age where we have everything to quantify everything, he has intangibles. He has the it factor. The way he feels the rush but keeps his eyes downfield. The way he's calm and decides, I'm going to take a sack here. It's okay. Oh, it's a penalty. We'll just get those yards back on the next play. And then the coach, Kyle Shanahan, has all the confidence in the world. It's just so cool to watch right now. And let's just pray they stay healthy. Let's pray they keep rolling this direction because some really special things could happen this year with this team. Let's go to Pete in Stockton. Pete, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, FP, isn't this a wonderful time of year for sports? You got football, you got the baseball playoffs, and you got the basketball season starting. It's fabulous. Anyway, thank you for taking my call. I'm a water polo player, but I love sports, and I love your show, and I'll tell you why. You deal with things in a positive way, and it's just a refreshing way to hear and listen to. I just wanted to tell you that. The point I wanted to make tonight was they have that writer, Steve Reeves from the, whatever it is, who ranked Purdy as number 25. Is he, I mean, come on. Hasn't Purdy earned a little bit more respect than that?
Pete, if anybody's dissing Brock Purdy now, they're making fools of themselves. Because if you watch the kid play, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now. If not, I mean, he's top 3, and he's fourth in odds for MVP right now. So if anybody's still dissing the kid, then they're just making themselves look stupid.
I totally agree. Now, I'm kind of pulling for Christian for MVP because, a running back just doesn't get that award anymore. However, you got to love Purdy. There were 2 plays yesterday that stand out in my mind. The first, I don't know if it was the first, but it was a touchdown pass to Kittle where the pocket closed on him and he drifted to the right out of the pocket and made that pass to the end zone for a touchdown. And then the other one was after he had missed that pass over the middle to Ayuk, they came back in the second half and they ran the same play. And that time he floated in perfectly for, I don't know, was it a 35, 40-yard gain? Come on.
Yeah, there was a couple. I thought the one to Ayuk, the 40-yard gain that got called back was a sick pass. That reminded me of Montana because Joe used to hit you right between the numbers in stride, would kind of lead you forward all the time. You never had to reach back or reach up, and it was just insane how accurate Joe Montana was. And I saw a couple of those passes with Brock Purdy that made me think of Joe Montana this week, and that's crazy to even say those 2 names. But why not? Why not right now?
No. I told my friends last year that Purdy reminded me of Montana, and he still does because when Purdy goes out of the pocket and he has that footwork and he throws off his back foot when he's running with the ball, he looks just exactly like Montana used to look.
That's cool.
I mean, it's just fabulous, and when you have that yokel, Steve Reeves. He can be defensive.
Focus on the positive, dude. It's a lot easier. Focus on all the good that's going on. And if somebody's saying that, they're whatever.
Exactly. Anyway.
All right, Pete. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the kind words, man. I really appreciate it.
And listen, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling. Yeah, I don't want to get negative, but I am a Miami Hurricane fan. And what happened Saturday at the Miami Hurricanes? If you didn't watch it, you're not going to believe what I'm going to talk about next. What happened at the end of the Miami Hurricanes game. It's FP Santangelo. This is KNBR Tonight on the Sports Leader.
should not be handing this football off.
Right.
I don't know what Miami is doing.
That's it. Well, here's Chaney. Just straight ahead. Tackled and the ball popped out.
You got to read the clock. Read the card. To me.
Georgia Tech has it with 26 seconds left. 3 to the field for King. Up in the pocket. Going to loop it down the field. And it is caught. And that's Rutherford. Here's King from the pocket. Flush to his right with 6. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. With 1 second to go in the ball game, Christian Leary.
Missed an interview or want to hear it again? Catch them all at knbr.com/podcasts. You're tuned in to KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
What are we doing? So the Hurricanes, not that anybody cares, but it's going down as one of the worst coaching decisions in collegiate football history. The Hurricanes were up 20-17 with 33 seconds to go. And I just happened to go there, so I'm going to vent a little bit. Stay with me. I've been grouchy all night. I don't know why I'm grouchy. I'm really not grouchy. It's on edge, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the medication isn't kicking in yet. It was 33 seconds left. They were up 20-17. And they should have kneeled on, victory formation, kneel on it. Meanwhile, the defense is over there, probably like they couldn't even find their helmets once they fumbled because they thought the game was over. But they're in the shotgun, handing balls off. And then Georgia Tech recovered and went 74 yards in 25 seconds because the Hurricane defense wasn't ready to play. Mario Cristobal, the head coach of Miami, said, I made the wrong call. I take full ownership in not taking a knee and giving them the opportunity to have a couple extra plays and preventing us from sealing the win. Miami has not lined up in a victory formation in any of its 5 games this season. It would have gone to 5-0. I'm thinking the U is back. And it's easier to get back now because they got the transfer portal. And if a guy looks at you wrong, you go to another school. The coach looks at you funny. You're like, I'm out of here. He looked at me weird. I'm going to Miami. So they look like the old Hurricanes. They're big. They're fast. They're physical. But then they don't even have a victory formation. That's a fundamental problem as a head coach. And I know Mario. I missed class with him when I was at Miami. I didn't go to school. I went there to play baseball. Don't let earmuffs, kids. We didn't do it on Saturday, and we should have, talking about the victory formation. Cristobal said he addressed the decision openly and honestly with the team. He's a second-year coach at Miami. You guys know him from Morgan. He's faced heavy criticism since the game ended. No crap he's faced. That's literally that's a fireable offense. You're D1. You are about to go to 5-0. And you don't kneel on the football. And you don't even have that formation. And we don't practice it. You just take the snap and kneel down. That's nothing you have to go through in walkthroughs. You don't have to sit there and go, okay, everybody, we're going to do that victory for it. Maybe you could do that as fun to get the kids thinking the right way psychologically, that if we do this, we're going to win on Saturday. Practice it for that reason. But you don't have to practice it to execute it. Do you think the 49ers go over victory formation? I wonder if they do. That'd be weird. They're going to need it a lot. Let's go to Craig in Arizona. Craig, you're on KNBR. What's up?
Hey, I'm here in Diamondbacks land. Yeah.
All right. Yes.
We beat the Dodgers. You're going to love and hate this phone call. You know, I could be listening to Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti right now doing a post-game show, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go over and listen to FP, and I'm glad that I did.
Oh, thanks, Craig. That's nice of you. And, I've been on the Diamondbacks bandwagon since spring training. They're young, they're athletic, and with the rule changes, I had a feeling they were going to have a big year.
I know you have, and I checked on them every game this year on MLB, like I did the Yankees and the Giants. But, boy, Wednesday night's going to rock and roll in Phoenix. But I do have a comment about the Miami Hurricanes. One of my favorite college bowl games of all time is when Penn State beat you guys. What was that, 1984, something like that?
Yeah, I wasn't quite a Hurricanes fan back then. But, yes, the Hurricanes wore fatigues and got off the plane in their camouflage fatigues And they got beat. They got their butts handed to them by Penn State and Joe Paterno.
Yeah, Penn State was tough on defense that night. That was a great bowl game because you guys were, I think, heavily favored. But isn't it true that the Miami Hurricanes have a history of being some of the biggest cheaters in college football?
No, it's not true,
USC?
Craig. That's not true.
Tell me about it.
Well, they're not cheaters. They do everything exactly the right way. They all go to class. They all get A's. They all graduate with honors, and they all become doctors and lawyers.
Weren't they caught cheating back in the 80s?
I don't think so.
Lee Hammer says no.
I don't think they were getting money from rappers or anything like that for good play. I don't. I just heard rumors about it. But I think that they all go to chapel on Sunday mornings after the games, and they're all doctors and lawyers, and some are politicians even. So, yeah, we call ourselves the Harvard of the South, basically.
Yeah, I'm not picking on you.
Graduate all our players.
Back to the D-backs. How about them Texas Rangers? I've been rooting for Boch more than when he was taking the Giants to World Series.
Well, that's silly. I'm rooting for Boch too, but not more than he was with the Giants for the World Series. What? I think it's cool that, did you hear what Alex Rodriguez said? Do we have that sound, Raph? Maybe you could dig it up here for the second. It's about Bochy. He was doing the post-game show, and it was very controversial and all over Giants Twitter today that he said that the Giants got rid of Bruce Bochy because they're so analytically driven, and here he is, 1 win away from the American League Championship Series. Alex Rodriguez said that he's something like that he wasn't good enough for the Giants. Just totally stirring the pot. A-Rod totally stirring the pot. But yeah, I'm rooting for Boch. I'm a National League guy, so I'm more focused on those series. But yeah, to go into Camden Yards and win both those games with that crowd and that environment and have the slugfest yesterday, win 11-8. Yeah, I'm happy for him, man. He said he had a quote today that said, I have a rule that I came up with 10 years ago that if a guy hits a grand slam, he's automatically in the lineup the next day. And I thought that was kind of cool. So, all right, Craig, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for tuning into KNBR.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Instead of the knuckleballer, Tom Candiata. He's great. Great dude, by the way, if you ever get to meet him. He's awesome. All right, Craig. Thanks, man. Yes, so, I mean, who are you rooting for in this thing? I'm still on the Phillies. I think they got the thing, but I don't know if the thing was taken away tonight by that late inning comeback by the Braves. And here's the thing, there has to be a way. What has happened is that extra playoff team, the third wild card team, has kind of ruined it for the division winners because now they got to sit out a whole week. It used to just be 4 or 5 days, and you could still lose your momentum after 4 or 5 days. But now you're sitting around for a week. There's no inner squad that can replicate game speed, game adrenaline, or what you're going to see. And then you have the teams, and what invariably happens too is the teams that win the division have clinched maybe mid to late September, so their last 10 or 12, 15 games are not meaningful. So you kind of lose momentum. You celebrate winning the division, which you should. It's not easy. Winning the division, to me, is harder than winning a World Series because it's a representation of 6 months of consistency, not like 1 month of getting hot. So you should celebrate that. And I think teams are still trying to tinker and find ways to stay fresh after they clinch, to keep their players in, to not take your foot off the gas pedal, so to speak. And then you sit around. You just can't sit around in baseball and then all of a sudden just go throttle up. You can't. The other team's got momentum. They already played playoffs. They've gotten the nerves out, which is another big thing. No matter how long you've been playing, you get to the playoffs, you get nervous. You get the butterflies out in the first series. Then you're playing a team that we won 110 games, we won 104 games. We have to win. If we don't win in the DS, it's going to be a failure because we had such a great season. Then there's an inherent pressure put on these teams because A, they've been sitting around, B, they won and they should beat the team that's the wild card team, all this stuff. I don't know what Major League Baseball could do. I don't know how they could make the division winners. They need to reward the division champions more. It's almost a penalty to sit around and do nothing. I've seen teams, I've been a part of teams where they have the PA announcer there. They play the walk-up music. They pipe in fake crowd noise like we all heard in 2020 during the pandemic, which is the worst thing ever, by the way. They should have not played that season. Every guy I talked to was just trying not to get hurt that year. My goal is to not get hurt because this is stupid. We have to spit in a cup every day. We have to wear masks everywhere. We can't get our work in like we want to get our work in. There's no fans in the stands, and we're playing baseball. And we're doing it for people at home that are stuck at home but this is dumb. And they all thought it was dumb. I didn't hear one player say, we should be doing this. They might have said it publicly, but privately, they're like, this is stupid. The stupidest thing ever. And my only goal this year is to get hurt. And I heard of some managers actually telling their players, your only goal this year should be not to get hurt. So we were seeing a lesser brand of baseball that was being shoved down our throats as real Major League Baseball, and it wasn't. It was like watching scrimmages every day. It was awful. Absolutely awful. All right, let's go back to the phone. Oh, no, we just lost that call. All right, well, let's wrap up the show. Short show together. We'll be back together tomorrow from 6 to 10 p.m. So here's the new schedule. I want you guys to write this down and put it on the refrigerator. Mondays and Thursdays, we're playing football games that nobody cares about in my slot, but it's football, and I like it because it makes the station sound big. So we're playing Monday Night Football, playing Thursday Night Football in my time slot. I'll be on after the game. We'll do a post-game fun show, like hour, 15-minute fun show. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's 4 hours, baby. Let's light up the phone lines. Let's get after it. Let's have fun. Let's talk about sports. Let's rock this place every single night, like you guys always do. Unbelievable. Just going around town this weekend and people saying, I listen to you every night. We're so glad you're back. I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support that I've gotten around the city. And being a part of this city is cool, too. Scootering to work in the rain tonight. Now I'm scootering home, dodging zombies in the rain tonight. I swear one almost was thinking about clotheslining me the other night. He was right there by Water Bar, and he looked, turned around. He was walking away, and I thought, oh, here comes the clothesline doing 20 miles an hour. He's just going to lay me out, and there's going to be a yard sale of like computers and papers and nerd stuff coming out of my backpack. But it didn't happen. So, Raph, good job tonight. Kyle, thanks for helping back there. This long show we did, this hour and 15-minute show of loveliness. Sorry I was grouchy tonight. I'll be in a better mood tomorrow night. What? And like I say on the way out every single night, swing hard in case you hit it on the Sports Leader.